Hey, everybody, it's Brian Terry and from the Disability Digest. And welcome to our Wednesday YouTube live event. Here at the Disability Digest, we do these events to give you some general information and tips to help you get, keep, and maximize your disability benefits. We've been doing this work since 2006, and it's our pleasure to serve 178,023 people as of today. So, today I'm going to go through some tips on how a strategy that will help you get your benefits, keep your benefits, and your working relationship with your doctor. So I'm going to go through that, and then I'm going to take any individual questions that you may have. I'll do my very best to help answer those for you in the time that we have. Before we get started, and you're welcome, and thank you for giving the suggestion to hit the like button. You're doing my job for me. Uh, Before we get started, so I want to point out in the prior live sessions, we've covered how to explain you qualify for your Social Security disability benefits, like how to express that in two sentences or less. So you might want to go back and check that out. After that, we did what you need to prove to get and keep your benefits. And today we're going to talk about doctor support. And once you go to your doctors, like what you should do, like after your doctor visit, to make sure that the right information is being put into your medical records to help you get your benefits or keep your benefits. Um, that's what we have on tap. And if you joined us or you're watching this replay today and you were invited via text, I thank you for joining. That means that you have a membership here that we are no longer able to communicate to you via email, and it requires an update on your behalf. So that we can get you the latest information. And below the replay or this current live event will be a link where you can get and or update your disability benefits or disability membership here. And the reason why you want to do that is there's always things that are changing. Not only do things perhaps change with you, like new conditions or your check amount or your spouse working or you moved, things like that. But there's always changes here at the Disability Digest. And if you update your membership or join us as a member, there is customized information that we can give you based on what we know about you, right? Because there's no two size fits all. All right. Thanks for those questions coming in. I am definitely going to take some time to address those. Um, so, getting started today, one other thing I want to point out is there was a popular video that was just put out about that I'm just sharing with you based on the viewership about what your responsibilities are as a disability recipient. And it's good to know this as an applicant. Like, what are the things that you should be doing to that Social Security expects of you to keep your benefits? So you can go back into the YouTube channel and look for that. Um, Also, I wanted to mention that this past week there was an interview that was I did with the Matt from Blind to Billionaire, which is a YouTube channel out there. And I thank you for the comments. Many of them were, shall I say, quite dicey, in that their experience with the channel that Matt has was not what they had desired. But here's my point. I certainly welcome those comments, but the reason why I interviewed Matt is he's blind. He is on the Social Security disability recipient, but he has done a fantastic job of taking something that he actually can do and leveraging a few hours a day to build a YouTube channel that provides a message, whether you like it or not. It provides a message, and it allows him to supplement his income and keep his benefits. So, one of the areas that we've been working on and putting out information in the last few weeks is interviews with others and information that will help you understand, like, how much you can make, what you can do to supplement your disability. So many people are getting pinched by the inflation costs going up. There might be there's going to be a bump in your benefits, but I don't expect it's going to be in line with what's going on in inflation. So being able to leverage a few hours a day and finding others that have been successful in doing it so that you can learn from that, not to say you're going to do the exact same thing, is what we're working on. So you're going to hear from Philip. You'll hear from Melody. You'll hear from Christine. These are all other people that have been members here that have done things to supplement their disability. Okay. Reminder: if you just joined us, feel free to put your question in the comment box, type it in there, so that I can, you know, address those at the end. And while I'm going through the main event today, what I would like to know from people that are out there is where you're at in the disability process. And if you would just simply enter a number into the chat, like the number one if you haven't applied, number two if you've applied and waiting, number three if you've unfortunately applied and been denied, and then number four if you have applied and been approved. That would help me kind of guide the conversation. All right. So, doctors. Uh, Most people go to the doctors and have their traditional doctor experience of going for 7 minutes. It used to be 12, but they say the average doctor visit is 7 minutes now. They go in, they do what they're asked, and then they leave. But what we have found in our experience is that what is put in those medical records is not always accurate. So I'm going to go through with you a few tips that you should put into place to help you get your benefits, or if you're already approved, keep your benefits, like disability insurance. And most people or facilities that you see have patient portals now. So this is super easy to do. Do it from the comfort of your own home. You don't necessarily have to request paper records, um, so that you can do it. So, and in the replay of this, I'm going to put in a interview that I did with one of our members, Sarah, who allowed me to share her experience with what happened with her medical records and how it caused just amazing challenges for her going through the disability process. All right. In advance of this, I'll give you the big picture. Um, I worked with a gentleman, or met a gentleman as he was later in the approval process. He lived in Long Island. His name was John Green. John applied on his own. He got denied. He went through the reconsideration process and got denied. And we met him as he was preparing to go for a hearing. John had stage 4 cancer. Stage 4 cancer is pretty obvious. Stage 4 cancer and the treatment and all of that. But John went through the application process with this false sense of security, thinking that he could get approved based on his condition, on his diagnosis. But his medical records were a mess, and they weren't consistent in communicating the severity of John's condition. So as a result, and this again is an extreme example, but it's a real deal example. Um, John passed away before he had his hearing come up. So, had those medical records been in place and been properly documented in the early stages, could have made a difference for him. He could have had his check and been approved and had a lot less stress in his life. Um, so, some things that you want to look for when you review your medical records. And again, just get your patient portal, log in after each visit. And if you followed some of the other prior events, then you'll know, some of the steps and what you want to communicate in your visit, especially your limitations. We talked about that. So you look at your medical records. First of all, you want to see how they're written. Are they written in a understandable form of English? And most doctors are going to type in everything now. There's very little handwritten notes that we see. So, but is it communicated properly? Are things abbreviated? Is it shortened? And if that's the case, then you definitely want to ask for a correction. If you're changing doctors, let's say you're going into your primary care, and your primary care is has sent you to, somebody for your mental health, has sent you to pain management, has sent you to a rheumatologist. Is the whole picture shown in your notes? It's another thing you want to look for, because Social Security is going to be looking at the general criteria for disability approval, which is you have conditions, they're being treated by a doctor. Despite the treatment, there's limitations. So if they're looking at your primary care and the primary care is not painting the whole picture, you're going to have a problem. Okay. Um, Dates of events. In the Sandra interview, that again is below this replay, she tells a story about her situation where the doctor had recorded a suicide attempt that she was hospitalized for and said that it was recent. Right? She gave the time frame in the interview, but I'm just going to call it recent. But it wasn't recent. It was years ago, right? But it was in her medical records as recent. It's not accurate. So, okay, one might think, oh, well, that's could be favorable for her. Yeah, but it's not credible because it actually didn't happen. And if somehow Social Security was to weigh in on that as valuable evidence when it actually wasn't, that wouldn't be good for her. Okay. So the dates, dates that you're hospitalized, dates that you were referred, um, different things like that. If you report new conditions, like let's say that you have fibromyalgia, a common condition that comes with fibromyalgia, maybe not right away, is IBS. So you report to your doctor you have IBS. Make sure that that's documented. And the new conditions are documented. Or maybe you're thinking, all right, well, geez, I don't feel well. I've been out of work, and I think I've got some depression going on. Would you send me out for some counseling? Just make sure that that is documented that you've been referred for counseling. Next one's super important. Conditions are rated based on severity. So if you have a condition it would be typically mild, moderate, or severe. Okay. So if you have arthritis in the back, for example, and your arthritis is mild, that's one thing, but severe, of course, is going to be another. Why is that important? That's important because if with the disability approval process and keeping your benefits, it is the severity of the condition. Two people can have the same condition, one mild and one severe, but they still have the same condition. But the severe one, it's severe. So if you're looking at how your conditions are mild, moderate, and severe, one, is it marked properly? And two, do you agree with that? Do you agree that the discomfort that you have deserves the rating that it's getting? Okay. And if it's not, I want you to think back or go back to what we did in prior weeks, where we talked about how to communicate your limitations in each and every doctor visit. So if you're communicating those in each and every doctor visit, and you've got the arthritis of the back, for example, and you're not able to bend, sit, stoop, stand for more than 15 minutes, or sit for more than 15 minutes, likely the doctor is going to look at the limitations and say, hey man, this is not moderate. This is going to be severe now. It's going to get bumped up. Okay. That's the importance of reviewing those medical records. Um, do your conditions progress? Like, has there been any changes in the condition? And this could be noted by the the degree of severity that we talked about. But are they being recognized as changing? Or maybe they get better. Some conditions may get better, and that would be great, in my opinion. And perhaps you're still not able to work, but you have some conditions that are getting better. And thanks again for those of you that are joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Enter your notes into or your comments and questions. I'm going to get to those in a few minutes. Um, medications, they change. Sometimes you're taking a med and it's not quite working for you, so you need to change it out for another one, or it's super expensive and you can't afford it, so you need to take another one. So just make sure that your medications are properly updated. So those are some of the tips. Those are 6 tips for you to check on your medical records. Again, if you don't have access to your patient portal, get it. If you don't have the technology, that you're able to do it, maybe a family member can help you do it and get in there. You can do it on your phone, which is great, and then go through and look for those 6 different things. Um, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna pivot here for a minute, and I'm gonna go in and take a look at some of these questions that we have to see um, where we can get started. Thank you, folks, for putting in. I have another computer over here. I'm not playing Candy Crush on the side. Um, I'm just looking at the comments, but thank you for putting in your numbers. We have twos, fours. Michelle's got a CDR going on. Okay. Luana's got her hearing coming up. Good luck with that. Um, okay. If you can't hear me, I don't know why. Can others hear me? Is there an audio problem after I'm 10 minutes into this? I hope not. It says my mic is on. Okay. All right. Okay, good. You can hear me. So again, feel free. I don't see any specific questions in there at this time, um, but I do want to ask this for those of you that are out there relative to the topic that we have. How many of you actually review your medical records? Just put a yes in there. I don't see any yeses. And Luana, you're going for your hearing. When you get off this meeting, I would invest some time to make sure that your medical records are right. You have 5 days before the hearing to submit any updated information. Okay. Almost always. Yes, I do. This is great. Happy Ron. Okay, perfect. Good. Good. All right. Great. Super. Listen, I don't see any other questions. I want to thank you for your time today. Just a few reminders for all of you. One is if you received a text invite to this event, your membership requires an update so we can continue to get you relevant information to help you get your benefits, maximize your benefits. Just look for the link below this video and you'll see join us or update your membership. That's one. The Sandra story about what happened to her medical records and the tips that she has, that's also below this replay. And then there's some general resources that are the most popular resources that we have that help people get their benefits, help you survive, help you understand how much money you can make and keep your benefits. All of that is below this replay that is here. So last but not least is thank you for taking the time to come out, spend a few minutes with me, get updated on some information. I hope you find this helpful. If you do, if you haven't already, we encourage you to subscribe and ring the bell so you get more information. And if this is something that you think might help somebody else, send it out there, give it a share. It would be great. So again, this has been Brian from the Disability Digest. Appreciate you all. Until next week, we'll be back here on Wednesday. Make it a great day. Thanks again.